Hey, history buffs and car enthusiasts. Welcome back to our channel, where we're going to set out on a wild ride through the captivating universe of Bugatti. Put on your seatbelts because today we are plunging headfirst into the history of Bugatti, which is rich in horsepower, creativity, and a healthy dose of French flair. Trust me, friends, this is one Bugatti venture you won't have any desire to miss. So, put on your best French accent, put on your driving gloves, and let's learn more about the amazing history of one of the most well-known car brands in the world. Ready? Get going! Bugatti is quite possibly of the most reminiscent brand in the auto-present reality, however it has a long and checkered history, with many premature moves, monetary difficulty, and the mediation of two universal conflicts in its pioneers' arrangements. On September 15, 1881, Ettore Bugatti was born in Milan, Italy, to an artistic family. His dad was Carlo Bugatti, a workmanship nouveau furniture merchant and gems creator, and his more youthful sibling, Rembrandt, was an eminent creature stone worker who tragically died very early on. Furthermore, his fatherly granddad, Giovanni Luigi Bugatti, was an engineer and artist. Despite the fact that his dad urged him to follow a regular apprenticeship with one of the Milanese tricycle or quadricycle makers, Ettore immediately showed a natural comprehension of various parts of engine vehicle development, and he was only 17 years of age when he planned his most memorable vehicle, the Type 1, in 1898. There were 4 engines on it, 2 on each side of the rear axle. The Type 2, which was funded by Ettore's father and won a prize at the Milan Trade Fair in 1901, came next. De Dietrich, a powerful baron, was captivated by the vehicle and offered Ettore the chance to design automobiles at his factory in Niederbronn, a German commune at the time. Ettore promptly got to work, bringing about Type 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 plans. All of these automobiles were built in just 2 years, from 1902 to 1904, and they were all identified as De Dietrich Bugattis. After meeting Émile Mathis, a French businessman who collaborated with Ettore to design and manufacture their own automobiles, Ettore cut ties with Baron De Dietrich immediately. Before the partners split up and Ettore established a research center in what is now a suburb of the French city of Strasbourg, this business arrangement lasted for 2 years. Before being appointed production director at Deutz, where he designed the Type 8 and Type 9, he produced several prototype automobiles at the research center in 1907. In the meantime, Ettore was working in the basement of his house to design the Type 10. He likewise planned a little vehicle for Peugeot in 1913 named the Sort 19 Bebe, which turned into the primary creation Peugeot to sell in excess of 3,000 units. In spite of the fact that he was brought into the world in Italy, Ettore Bugatti set up his eponymous manufacturing plant in Molsheim, Alsace, which was then essential for Germany. Autos e Bugatti became known for building probably the quickest, most sumptuous and mechanically progressed vehicles of their day, with Bugattis finding success contending in early fantastic pre-engine dashing. Ettore was forced to leave Alsace when World War I broke out, first returning to Milan before moving to Paris. During this time, he created airplane engines, most notably the U-16, which was only ever installed in a small number of aircraft. He also created the Autorail Bugatti, a successful motorized railcar. Because Alsace was given to France from Germany less than 4 months after the Treaty of Versailles was signed, Ettore went back to his beloved factory after World War I ended. He likewise figured out how to get himself a stand at the 1919 release of the Paris Engine Show, and displayed 3 light vehicles, one of which was the Sort 13. The vehicle is broadly viewed as the first valid Bugatti, taking first, second, third and fourth places at the Brescia Stupendous Prix of 1921. Orders for the vehicle poured in, infusing some truly necessary money into the organization. The Type 23 Brescia Tourer, a full-fledged production version of the Type 13, was Ettore's second attempt to capitalize on the Type 13's racing success at Brescia. Between 1920 and 1926, approximately 2,000 Type 23 Brescia Tourers were produced. A victory at the first ever Monaco Grand Prix in 1929 and 2 victories at the 24 Hours of Le Mans in 1937 and 1939 are among Bugatti's other notable racing accomplishments during the interwar period. The last triumph is especially surprising on the grounds that Bugatti dashed with only a solitary vehicle and an insignificant measure of extra parts. The Bugatti Type 35, a model which started to be worked in 1924, is seemingly the best hustling vehicle ever, having won in excess of 1,000 races in different pretenses between the mid-1920s and mid-1930s. In the 1930s, Ettore got involved in a project to design and build a racing plane called the Model 100. However, the Model 100 never flew because World War II started. The Molsheim factory had made a lot of different cars by the end of the Second World War, but less than 8,000 in all. Jean Bugatti, Ettore's son and the designer of the fabled Type 57 automobile, actually passed away in a tank-bodied model that had just won the 1939 24 Hours of Le Mans a few months earlier. He was putting the car through its paces in the vicinity of Duppegeim when he lost control, collided with a cyclist, and struck a tree. This improvement intended that there was no undeniable replacement to assume control over tasks at the Molsheim production line, not that there was quite left of a manufacturing plant to take over after the finish of the Second Great War. It was destroyed by the war, and the business actually lost ownership of the property. During the war, there was talk of building a new factory, but nothing came of it. Just a single additional model would be made by the first Bugatti organization, and this was the Type 73. Street and race adaptations of the model were arranged, yet only 5 of them were at any point worked preceding Ettore Bugatti's demise in 1947. At the time, Ettore was working on a 375 cubic centimeters supercharged car, but after his death, work on it was stopped. The last, valid, Bugatti is viewed as the kind 101. Only 8 were ever produced. Business proceeded to decline, and the first manifestation of Bugatti shut its entryways in 1952. Roland Bugatti, another of Ettore Bugatti's 3 sons, attempted a comeback with the 1955 mid-engine Type 251. It was created with the assistance of Ferrari designer Gioacchino Colombo. Tragically, the vehicle neglected to perform to assumptions, and this implied that creation failed right from the start. In 1965, the American fashioner, Virgil Exner, planned a show variant of a sort, Type 101. The car was displayed at the Turin Motor Show that year, and Ghia built its body. Exner turned his attention elsewhere because the car didn't get much attention. Bugatti continued manufacturing airplane parts after the war until 1963, when it was sold to Hispano Suiza, which was also a former car manufacturer that became an aircraft supplier. An Italian business person by the name of Romano Artioli gained the Bugatti brand in 1987, and a spick and span manufacturing plant was worked at Campogalliano, Medina, Italy. After the revival of the Bugatti brand, the plans for the first model were revealed in 1989. The Bugatti EB110 GT was planned by Paolo Stanzani and Marcello Gandini, the men behind Lamborghini's notorious Miura and Countach models. Among its various freakish elements, the new supercar had a carbon fiber built-up polymer suspension, 4-wheel drive, a 6-speed gearbox and a powerful 3.5-liter, quad-turbocharged, 60-valve V12 motor. Nearly 139 EB110s were created, with a portion of these being super sport models that were lighter, all the more remarkable and had minor styling contrasts to the base EB110 GT. The EB110 SS had a top speed of 216 miles per hour, while the EB110 GT had a top speed of 209 miles per hour. Due to the severe economic downturns that plagued the supercar market in Europe and North America in the early 1990s, the vehicle did not sell very well. Maybe the most well-known EB110 SS of everything is a yellow model claimed by, in all honesty, Michael Schumacher, the 7-time Formula 1 title holder. The EB112, styled by Italdesigns Giorgetto Giugiaro, was on display in 1993 for the refreshed Bugatti brand. The vehicle included a 450-pole V12 motor and super durable 4-wheel drive, yet it was never placed into creation because of the organization battling to sell instances of its EB110 model. There were at least 2 EB112s built, but photos of an alleged third have recently surfaced online. In September 1995, the company went out of business for the second time due to adverse economic conditions. It is said that the magnificent Campogalliano factory was a light year ahead of its time, but it is still abandoned today. The all-vanquishing Bugatti Veyron that gearheads know and cherish today can follow its starting points back to the fourth Volkswagen-endorsed Bugatti Idea vehicle, which was displayed at the Tokyo Engine Show in October 1999. The EB18 Fourths Veyron was styled in-house, rather than being styled by Italdesign, and highlighted similar W18 motor as the past 3 Idea vehicles. A changed and refreshed variant of the Idea vehicle, known as the EB16 Fourths Veyron, was shown at the Detroit, Geneva and Paris engine shows during the year 2000. The last Idea vehicle highlighted the motor design that would proceed to be introduced in each illustration of the Creation variant of the Bugatti Veyron, and the improvement of the Creation vehicle would happen for 5 strong years before it really went to showcase in 2005. Initiation of Creation on the Veyron implied that the Bugatti brand got to get back to its foundations. A shiny new office at Molsheim began building Veyrons in exceptionally restricted numbers at a base cost of $1.1 million each. The fortunate owners received an 8.0-liter, quad-turbocharged W16 engine with 987 horsepower and a top speed of 253 miles per hour for that sum. More powerful versions of the car were produced in the form of Super Sport and Grand Sport Vitesse models, which have an eye-watering 1,184 pull-on draft. A Super Sport is perceived similar to the quickest road legitimate Creation vehicle on the planet, having arrived at a maximum velocity of 268 miles per hour in 2010. Only 450 Veyrons have been produced over the previous 10 years, including numerous special editions like the Pur Sang, Sang Noir, and Nocturne, by the time production ended in 2015. 200 of the 500 that will ever be produced were already sold prior to the Chiron, the Veyron's successor. It might have been difficult to imagine a car that could surpass the Veyron, but this one did. The Veyron's engine was kept, but it was significantly improved to produce a staggering 1,479 horsepower. The $2.7 million Chiron, which is named after the Monégasque dashing driver who drove different Bugattis to triumph during the 1930s, can advance to 60 miles per hour in 2.4 seconds, arrive at 261 miles per hour in electronically restricted Creation structure. The vehicle is accepted to be equipped for 288 miles per hour, and holds the world record for the 0 to 250 miles per hour run, 32.6 seconds. The Chiron Sport, Bugatti's track-focused version of the Chiron, was unveiled at the 2018 Geneva Motor Show. You get a car that weighs 40 pounds less, has a stiffer suspension, a new torque vectoring system, and many other improvements for $400,000 more than the base Chiron. It'll be some time before the Chiron's Creation run is finished. However, how about we hold back to see where this famous marque will go straight away. The furthest down the line expansion to the esteemed arrangement of French hypercars was the Mistral, yet from that point forward, Bugatti has converged with Rimac. We are enthusiastically standing by to see what future models will spring from this organization, yet it will in any case be some time before even steadfast clients know about these. That concludes our discussion of the history of the Bugatti, my fellow car enthusiasts. I hope this turbocharged joyride through Bugatti's history was enjoyable for you. If you ever see a Bugatti Veyron cruising the streets, don't forget to wave at the people who drive regular cars. Folks, let's keep it classy. We appreciate you joining us today, and please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Doing so will help us produce videos that are more interesting, get you on the following experience. Au revoir.